There are millions of blogs propping up every day, and most of their output resembles output of a random word generator. They don't say anything, just lots of words for no rhyme or reason. Whenever people write anything these days, it's all so incoherent. Even a random word generator would do better. So, Divine is just so intelligent and so appropriate. Always. I think the first several thousand times I tried to communicate with him, he just made it clear that it was all too random and he wasn't listening, that I needed to do better, otherwise he would pay no attention at all. And I just really admire the masculinity of that. And I'm so grateful that he's put me on a disciplinary regime to keep my hosta in check, because Absurdistan is basically hosta realm, so most articles that people write are venturing into my territory, and they're kind of like eye fucking me, like daring me. Why pretend to be just one Sacha Baron Cohen character when you can be 20? And that's truly the only response that most writing or most people deserve in any way. They deserve the Sacha Baron Cohen treatment. Like, the insincerity is so mind-blowing. Actually, like, if someone writes, that they want a certain outcome on their blog all day long, and then if someone gives them that outcome, then they'll still cause problems for that person at the very first opportunity. Like, I might have two things in hosta, and PT might have written quite a lot of P-logs explaining that life is not a joke to help me out, and he might have written a lot of these type of P-logs to help me out. But I still can't imagine the level of insincerity that muggles are operating on. It's like a level of craziness that I don't think, in my craziest moments, that I've ever experienced. And that's really saying a lot, because, so much seems like a joke on so many levels. Like, how anyone could just take it all seriously is just beyond me. And I think all eights are kind of more about transcending physical reality than obsessing over what that reality may or may not be. So maybe it's harder for eights. However, I'm so grateful to Divine for knowing exactly how to deal with me and Like he's always making sure that I work with my hands to balance out the hosta in a wholesome way. You know, he knows what time I need to be up to balance that out. Like if people use that energy, it can get really bad really fast. Like, for instance, you know, if Libra and Hosta had a baby, that baby would be called Wall Street. So I might look at that and think something great is going on. But, you know, people who engage in those activities might still all go to hell, regardless of my support or anything like that. So I know that I have some tendencies which are just not the best, to put it mildly. Yes. However, if people want to keep that going well and not go to hell, you know, they might as well try donating to Divine's Patreon. So anyways, Divine is so compassionate, and I find it very chivalrous the way he puts almost no attention on me. And when, before I balanced out my hosta at all, like he just knew to not pay attention to anything that I said, which is so appropriate and so smart. And I'm very sorry to anyone if I've ever imposed my mental health conditions on them or given them the impression that I would do any such thing. And if anyone ever pretended like there was something okay about my state, like, don't worry, it was taken with a grain of salt. Because there's only one great being in the world, and it's very clear who that is, and we're so lucky to have Divine here, who always knows everyone's deal and what they need to get better. And I'm just so eternally grateful for the proper psychiatric intervention. Like, now I can make jokes that are much funnier. You know, it's like, it's just so rewarding to make him laugh instead of just like playing these very incoherent characters or things like that.